This is higher homework, it's Unit 2 extension work, and we're working on question 13, which is work on polynomials. We'll do C and D in this clip here, and what I've got for C is x minus 2 is a factor of this polynomial. I'm missing something here, I'm missing a value. Find the value of k, first of all, and then I have to solve it. So solving, remember, means that I'm going to take it down to the roots. I'm going to find the roots of the polynomial. So if I know that x minus 2 is a factor, I know that x equals 2 is a root. Okay? So what I'll do is I'll use the root outside the synthetic division, and what I'll do is I'll start by bringing down the coefficients from here. So it's 1x cubed, so I'll start with that one. I've got minus 10 here, I've got 31 there, and for here I've got minus k. What I'll do is I'll just do the synthetic division work, bring down the 1 first of all, and then start multiplying upwards by the 2. So that will give me 2 there, minus 8 when I gather them together, minus 16 multiplied up, 15 when I gather them together, get 30 in there. So what I can see from this part here, at the end I've got 30 minus k when I gather them, I know that equals 0, and that is the remainder. I know that it's equal to 0, and that's since that already I've said that x minus 2 is a factor. Okay, so let's work out the value of k. So I know that 30 minus k equals 0, so I know that k is going to be equal to 30. And there's my answer for that first part there. Right, let's go down with the polynomial. Let's write that one out in full. So I've got x cubed minus 10x squared plus 31x. What I'll do is I'll replace the k value there with 30. So that's going to be minus 30, and that's going to be equal to, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting the factors in here. So I've got x minus 2 was the one that was given. The other factors, or the trinomial that I'm going to get, is going to come from the coefficient, the quotient here. So I'll just take down the quotient, which is going to be, if that's x cubed, that's going to be x squared. So it's going to be x squared minus 8x plus 15. And I know that equals 0. So let's solve this. So I'm going to factorise this part here out into 2 brackets, and then I'm going to find the roots. So I've got x and x here, 2 numbers that multiply together to get 15, but I can make 8 out of them in some way, so 15 and 1 won't work for me, so I could go for 5 and 3. 5 and 3 add together could make 8, so let's go for that. 3 there, 5 there. That sign's a positive, so they're both positives or they're both negatives. That sign there tells me they're both negatives. And I can check that out by FOIL to make sure it comes back to the original, which it should do. Getting to get the roots now. X equals 2, x minus 3 equals 0, so x equals 3, x minus 5 equals 0, so x equals 5. So that is it complete. The roots are these guys here. To mark it, what we're going to do is just the same as we did for A and B. I'm going to set 1 mark for setting up the synthetic division, another mark for getting, I want to see 30 minus k equals 0, and also a k equals 30 based on that. Taking the quotient from there to there, giving me that mark there, and finally getting all the roots correct will give me the 4th mark. So that's going to be out of 4. Let's move to D. Right, in here, not many words around about this question, just a basic solve this polynomial. So when I'm trying to solve a polynomial, what I'm going to be looking at is all the factors of the last number that's here. Okay, so the factors that I could choose would be, I've got plus or minus 1, I've got plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, and plus or minus 6. So there's all the values that I could choose to try some synthetic division with. What I'm going to start with, I'm not going to start with 1 because I can see that that won't work out, but what I'll do is I'll start with minus 1 and see how that goes. Okay, so let's go for a minus 1 outside the synthetic division. I'll bring down the coefficients. Minus 11, no, nothing missing, so I don't need to add any zeros in, and that'll be a minus 6 in there. So that'll give me 2. When I multiply that up, that's going to give me minus 2 there, gathering together minus 13, multiplying minus 13 and the minus 1 will give me 13, gathered together 30, multiplied by minus 1 will give me minus 30, and in there, when I gather them, minus 36. That equals the remainder. But unfortunately, it doesn't equal 0, so therefore, x minus 1, x equals minus 1, excuse me, I'll take that away, x equals minus 1 is not a root. Okay? Right, let me try another number. So I've tried the minus 1, so that's not worked out for me, so let's try the 2. Let's go for that. So I'll try 2, just set up the same numbers again here, and I'm looking for this one to work out for me. So I'll bring down the 2, multiply them up to get the 4, gather together minus 7, minus 14 going up here, should have a 3 when I gather them, gets a 6, and great. So that gives me a remainder of 0. Remember to write in the remainder. And what I'm going to say is, therefore, this number here, x equals 2, is a root. And if I know that's a root, just taking that over the other side of the equals, that there gives me x minus 2 is a factor. I'm going to use that in a minute just to sort things out. Let's get the polynomial from the top again, and let's state that this here, minus 6, is going to be equal to, in factorised form, x minus 2, and the quotient that I've got from here is going to be 2x squared minus 7x plus 3, and that equals 0. Let's try to factorise this and solve it. So I've got x minus 2 here, I've got 2 brackets, I'm going to put these guys into here. I've got 2x, I've got x, I've got 3 and 1, so quite easy numbers to deal with, just need to put them round the correct way. So I'll go for a 3 there, a 1 there, and looking at the signs I'll have a minus there and a minus there, and that should work out for me. I can check it with FOIL, make sure it works. Here we're going to go for the roots, so I'll get x minus 2 equals 0, so x equals 2. I've got 2x minus 1 equals 0, so what I've got is 2x is equal to, take the 1 over there, so x is equal to a half. And over here, x minus 3 equals 0, so x equals 3. So here are my roots. And that's what I'm looking for when I try to solve a polynomial. Right, let's go for the marking scheme on this one. So let's look at setting up the synthetic division. What I'd like to look at here is getting 0 equals the remainder. So I need to see a remainder in there. And from that, what I'd be interested in is seeing that x minus 2 is a factor, or what we've got is x equals 2 is a root. I prefer both of them, but if one of them's there, then I'll accept that mark there. One mark for picking this out from here, so getting the quotient written down, and the final mark for getting the 3 roots. So again, this is going to be out of 4.